Here at the copper mine, the drama of this place really now comes into its own. We're about to visualize the first major earthly encounter between Jesus and the devil. We know the devil tried to get rid of Jesus soon after his birth by stirring up Herod to kill all the boys of 2 or under in and around Bethlehem. But since then, for 30 years, the devil has pretty much left Jesus alone. However, following his baptism in the Jordan, the devil's become fixated, tracking him into the wilderness, waiting for things to unfold and looking for an opportunity to pounce. 40 days of prayer and fellowship with his Father and the Holy Spirit, no doubt reflecting on the wilderness and the eternal kingdom, the ultimate promised land he's come to usher us into, Jesus actually notices he's hungry. And at this exact moment, the devil, like a shot, moves in. He's had 40 days to choose his words, and he opens fire with step 1 of his 3-point plan. He's going for the lust of the flesh, playing on humanity's desire to find what's good to eat. But just as he did in the garden, he starts by raising a doubt. Not this time by saying, "Has God said?" which was his Eden strategy, but by taunting Jesus with an if. If you are the Son of God. Of course, neither Jesus nor the devil actually had any doubts about Jesus being the Son of God. The devil is simply out to get Jesus under his spell by challenging him to prove it. All around Jesus, there are plenty of stones. If only every one of these could be turned into bread. Seeing there are so many, the whole world could be fed. So when the devil says, "If you're the Son of God, turn these stones into bread," it's a clever, multifaceted temptation. We don't know all that had been going through the mind of Jesus in the 40 days leading up to this moment. But we do know that he was aware of his mission to defeat the devil on the cross, to destroy the devil's works, and to establish a new kingdom. For millennia, the devil had used his greed to increase global need and inequality. Of course, the heart of Jesus would have gone out to those who'd become deprived and dejected, unwittingly trodden down under the devil's heel. But could Jesus be tempted to turn stones to bread? If not to satisfy himself, perhaps to feed the world? The task itself was not beyond him. In another wilderness, he'd seen a nation under Moses fed with manna from heaven before entering their promised land. And later he would turn water to wine and multiply a young lad's lunch to feed 5,000. But stones to bread? Right here, right now, just to prove that he's the Son of God? A fact that needs no proving? It's not going to happen. In no way is Jesus going to put his own needs before the needs of others. No matter how much the devil would love to see him gorging on bread made from stones, he's not going to act as if that mattered more than fulfilling his commission to open the way for humanity to enter into a personal relationship with his Father. The reply Jesus gives takes all of this into account. In one brief quotation from Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3, part of the very instructions Moses gave to the ancient Israelites before they entered the promised land, Jesus flatly rejects the devil's opening temptation. Let me read it to you. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3. It is written, "Man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." The way Jesus replied in the Perean wilderness 2,000 years ago set the devil on notice. Ever since the Garden of Eden, the devil has been separating people from God and getting them to ignore what God is saying. Jesus could have turned stones to bread. Come on. He shared a little boy's lunch with 5,000. But he came to preach good news to the poor and to destroy the devil and his works on the cross. He was focused on reconciling people to God and setting them as renewed individuals into his eternal kingdom. Even today, Jesus is turning stony hearts into responsive ones and opening ears that have been deafened by self-centeredness so that people can hear and hold on to the very words from God that will enable them to truly live. So here's a question to reflect on and maybe to discuss with your friends. In dealing with this first temptation, Jesus rejects self-centeredness and affirms that a listening relationship with God is necessary for healthy living. How should we apply these principles when seeking to redress inequalities in the world today?